the United States, and the Supreme Court has axed a law which defines marriage as a union which can only take place between a man and a woman. Gay rights activists have welcomed the ruling. President Obama says the ruling brings to an end what he described as discrimination enshrined in law.
Celebrations outside the Supreme Court in Washington after what has been called a landmark ruling for gay rights activists. Judges ruled in a 5-4 vote that same-sex couples must in law get the same federal rights as heterosexual couples. President Barack Obama applauded the decision.
US President Barack Obama said he welcomed the court's ruling on benefits. He instructed Attorney General Eric Holder to review relevant laws and ensure changes are quickly implemented.
The court struck down a section of the Defence of Marriage Act, also known as DOMA.
The justices ruled that it denies equal protection to same-sex couples, so gay couples can now claim the same federal benefits, such as pensions, as straight married couples.
The court also declined to rule on a California ban on same-sex marriage known as Proposition 8. That decision paves the way for gay unions to resume there.
It's the day I finally get to look at the man that I love and finally say, will you please marry me?
We believe from the very beginning that the importance of this case was to send a message to the children of this country that you are just as good as everybody else, no matter who you love, no matter who your parents love. And today we can go back to California and say to our own children, all 4 of our boys, your family is just as good as everybody else's family. We love you as much as anybody else's parents love their kids, and we're going to be equal. Now we will be married, and we will be equal to every other family in California.
But in the 37 states where gay marriage is not allowed, nothing changes. Just as well, say opponents like Congressman Tim Huelskamp.
Every child deserves a mommy and a daddy, and with this decision, they undercut the needs of our children.
Those opposed to gay marriage now seem even more on the wrong side of history. American public opinion has shifted in favour. Their judges, at some point, seem likely to follow.
The court ruled that Proposition 8's private citizen defenders had no legal standing to defend the ban, meaning a court's 2010 judgment against the law stands. This now paves the way for gay marriage to once again take its place in California.
The United States Supreme Court held that there was no purpose for depriving gay and lesbian couples of the right to marry the person they love. There was no legitimate justification for that.
The American Civil Liberties Union helped argue Windsor's case. It says the rulings are a civil rights victory.
Now we have 94 million Americans who live in jurisdictions where they have the right to marry. That's almost 1/3 of the U.S. population live in freedom to marry states. That's an enormous win. Now to get over the finish line, we've got to win state by state. And we have to launch these campaigns at the state level.
That's because by the end of the summer, same-sex marriage will be legal in at least 12 of 50 U.S. states, plus the District of Columbia. But in more conservative rural U.S. states, there's opposition to the court's rulings.
They attack something that they have no jurisdiction over whatsoever, the foundational unit of our society, which is marriage. That is something that God created.
Top U.S. Catholic bishops also called the rulings a tragic day for the U.S. In a statement, they said the court got it wrong. The federal government ought to respect the truth that marriage is the union of one man and one woman.
If you count California, 13 states and the District of Columbia now recognise same-sex marriage. But the rulings leave in place laws in more than 30 other states banning gay marriage.
The Supreme Court has no authority when it comes to the nature of marriage. That authority belongs to the Creator.
Many battles still ahead.